Well, this morning we're here to present a group of business leaders, and they're going to give you clear evidence that regulating bathrooms and changing rooms is really not necessary, that this poses enormous long-term economic risk for the state of Texas. It literally challenges the miracle of Texas. We have empirical evidence from North Carolina, from Indiana, from other states, that state-sponsored discrimination has very severe economic consequences.
I'm here today on behalf of IBM and on behalf of the more than 10,000 Texan IBMers that we have employed across the state. And I'm here to say that discriminatory legislation, like the so-called bathroom bill, is harmful to business. It's bad for business. A bathroom bill would allow IBMers to be discriminated against, our families, our communities to be discriminated against. This goes squarely against long-standing IBM values of diversity and inclusion. It goes against long-standing Texan values, where independence and grit are the meaningful measures of any person. It's been these Texas qualities that have allowed us to bring thousands of talented people into this state. Because high-tech jobs today can literally be done anywhere, companies like IBM, both large and small, have to figure out where to locate those jobs. And those jobs have to be located at places where people want to live and work. A bathroom bill or any discriminatory legislation that targets the LGBT community hurts our ability to recruit and retain talent in Texas.
Tech talent is the #1 driver of growth in our local tech industry. But attracting tech talent is not easy. Workers with tech skills are in high demand. They can pretty much choose to live and work from anywhere they want. More and more, these workers are deciding on where to locate based on lifestyle and value choices, not just salary. We have to create and maintain an open environment that these young workers want to be a part of. And already, we know that it will take years to overcome the perceptions that this very bathroom debate has already created. Perceptions that Texas is intolerant, unwelcoming, and hostile to vulnerable minorities. But what will be even more devastating are the future economic hits to Texas and cities like San Antonio should this proposed bathroom bill become law.
Fortunately, numerous law enforcement officials have already said we have laws in place needed to handle anyone who intends to harm another person in a bathroom. I do support equality and non-discrimination, and as such, we do not need to give our great state a reputation for being a place that has laws that discriminate against anyone.
Tourism is part of the lifeblood of the Texas economy. When Texas tourism suffers, as we know it will, the loss is not just a number on paper. It's about the local audiovisual technicians and musicians hired to put on an event. It's the caterers and the florists that rely on tourism to stay afloat. It's our hotels and restaurants and bars and all the people who work for them who need good hours to make ends meet. These are real livelihoods that are at stake, and they will affect real working families. We cannot, in good conscience, support legislation that is, by all expert accounts, unnecessary when we know it will do so much harm to hardworking Texans, and we stand with our fellow Texans in opposing discrimination.
There have been various versions offered, but these so-called bathroom bills have been debated all session here in Texas, and they represent manufactured and unnecessary legislation. The fact that it's even described as a bathroom bill is in fact misleading. The worst thing about these bills is that they would preempt existing anti-discrimination ordinances put in place by Texas cities and school boards to protect the LGBTQ community.
We know from polling in our industry that bathroom laws are one of the top policy deterrents for planning meetings, conventions, conferences here in the state of Texas and around the country. Many of these meeting planners simply do not want the headache of waiting and watching to see what Texas is doing, so they are taking their business elsewhere. The worst possible element for meeting planners, conventions, and sporting events is uncertainty. That's why for every high-profile cancellation you read about, Dozens are quietly looking elsewhere, to climates and states that are welcoming and inclusive. This silent, slow bleed of opportunity is already hurting Texas and Texans, as Philip talked about. The reality is that folks who live outside of Texas can vote with their wallets. These types of discriminatory bills will hurt everyday Texans, our economy, and those who work in tourism and the hospitality industry across the state.
Just the threat of a bathroom bill has made folks too nervous, too uncomfortable to bring their business to Texas. We're talking this week's call was for a $1.2 million piece of business to an Austin hotel that cannot afford to lose that type of business. This is not what we want for Texas. This is not what we want for San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, and all of Texas. We want to be a community and a state that welcomes all. We'll do whatever we need to do on behalf of the lodging industry to oppose any legislation which makes Texas unwelcome to visitors and an unwelcome community throughout.
Bathrooms are not the problem. The state has a crisis on its hands of children being abused and neglected and even dying on the watch of the state of Texas. We have real problems with sexual assault, with domestic abuse. Any attempt to draw the focus away from those problems and to the bathrooms should be widely condemned. As a stakeholder in Dallas economy and in Dallas' vibrant tourism industry, I am shocked that any elected representative would put so many large and small businesses and so many workers in harm's way. Personally, as a Catholic and a conservative, I am tired of the crusade against a group of people who are already in danger. I know that many Texans don't know any transgender people, so it's easy to fear those whom we don't know. But I know Texans, so it's no surprise to me that the most recent independent poll showed that the majority of Texans don't think a bathroom law is important, because most Texans believe, as I do, in treating people with dignity.